Previously on Lost.
Greetings, Ron Smalek.
And Fellonius the Wizard with Season 2 recap of Lost, the TV show.
Oh, Season 2's over already.
Yep, goes like lightning, man.
But it was good.
It was better than Season 1.
Oh, wow.
Yep,
really?
Absolutely. Mostly because there are so many new characters and adding plots. Some question marks have we cleaned up along, but we are getting more and more. And yet, you said something about that some people actually jumped ship on this TV show during Season 2.
Yeah.
To me, it's more like gluing me even further attached to it. I cannot leave this. This is impossible.
Well, I have one. I definitely want to explore this question a bit more. But first, let's get a couple things out of the way. So we watched all of Season 1 and all of Season 2. We were watching it 3 episodes at a time.
Yep.
This will be a shorter show where we just recap what we liked overall, what our predictions were. Did they come true?
Yeah.
And I think since we recorded last time, it's time for me to give a quick shout out to Scofert, who is one of your pals, and he left some comments on one of my recent videos. I think we already covered it in last week's episode, but
might be, yeah.
So then let's. Oh, and also we watched some of the special features for Season 2, so we may touch on that in this episode as well.
Yeah.
Now,
so we do.
You jumped right in with liking Season 2 better.
Yeah.
I definitely I thought something was in Season 3. There's a story arc that I thought was in Season 2, but it apparently must be in Season 3 or 4.
Okay.
And Season 3, I believe, is the one where we had in the U.S. a writer's strike in the middle.
Yep.
And so at this point in the show, at the end of Season 2, they knew they were reviewed for Season 3.
Yeah.
They had some ideas of where they wanted to go, but they didn't have an end on a timeline.
Okay.
And in the middle of Season 3, we'll talk about this later, they finally lock down exactly how many episodes there will be till the end.
Ooh,
and so they start to course correct, because they start to get a little bit off. Well, the general consensus is they get a little bit off track, start doing some side stories, and it starts losing the momentum, I feel. Mm-hmm. And then the second half of Season 3 is like a rocket punch to the face.
Okay,
awesome.
We'll get back to that later on.
Okay, so Season 2, I think it was strong. I personally think Season 1 was better, but the reason that I say that is more of a personal reason. I like the nature of the island and the tropics and the characters, the real human focus. Yeah. This one, I think when I saw this series back in the 2000s, I did like Season 2 better because of all the mysteries. But this time around, I liked Season 1 better because of the heart and the acting and that sort of thing.
It might actually be, it might be that as a reason, because for me it is the first time I'm watching this. And my primarily reason for liking Season 2 better is the Dharma Initiative. Totally. By adding that is not there and still are there after 25 years.
Yeah.
And all the strange things surrounding that Dharma Initiative.
Yeah.
That made it, all the technical stuff, all the old computers and all that. It was so perfectly planned. Well, I really like that. And it's not enough of it to make it boring, but it's just the right amount and with a bang in the end. I really like Dharma Initiative.
Well, before we got to the Dharma Initiatives, we started off getting more introduced to the tailies, the tail section. What do you think of them as a group, first off? Do you like them more than you did at the beginning of the season, less?
We started with 5 guys and we ended with 2. There are only 1 left, and that's Mr. Echo and Bernard. Rest has been dragged away,
Yeah.
or killed. So Libby and Ana Lucia, they didn't come out that strong in the beginning, and in the middle somewhere we got some sort of explanation on why they had to be as tough and suspicious as they were, because they were haunted from day one when their tailie dropped down on the beach. The other section of the plane, they have had Sunday afternoon on the beach mostly for 64 days or whatever, 48 days. So they are, and then we had Ana Lucia, that's a psychopath as well. So they had a totally different experience on the island. Yet they are adapting to the jungle, the food situation, all that. Meanwhile, being decimated a lot. So I really didn't mind the tailies popping up as they did, but on the other hand, Rose had already told me that they were alive, so I already waited for that. Yeah. I believe Rose.
I kind of feel like the tailies at the end of the season are almost completely not important anymore.
Exactly.
Because and of all of them, the one I liked the most was Libby.
Okay.
Because as far as I could see, everything she did had a positive effect.
Yeah, or at least not a negative one.
Yeah. So Ana Lucia, I mean, she was a mess.
From day one.
Echo, I really love his backstory, and I like him being the quiet, tough guy on the island. Not tough guy, defender, I should say.
Yes.
But I don't really care for the deeply religious, blindly rushing forward.
No, he's very simple-minded when it comes to making decisions. Otherwise, he's listening to God, or otherwise he's just being a badass.
Yeah. And then I liked Bernard up until he was really being a jerk with the SOS thing. And I think my sense, I mean, by the way, in this whole episode and in all future episodes, I'm putting aside what I know is going to happen or what I think I remember.
Yep.
And just trying to interpret what I've seen. I agree with you, though. It seems like he and Rose will just come in for 2-3 episodes here and there, but not really have a main.
No, their backstory is already done and gone, and we now know that she is healthy. That's a question mark we have solved, at least.
Excuse me.
And what else can they bring except that she's doing the laundry now and then? I mean, more. It doesn't be more, and he won't go do any more SOS signs. Yeah. That's for sure.
Yeah, so, I mean, I think the tailies were important to the overall story, but not. They helped breathe some new life into the show, but I think more than that, they made me realize that, the main characters are the ones I really want to see.
Yes. Exactly.
Yeah. So, I have something that I thought about after we recorded our last episode, but do you have any topics or questions you want to cover first?
Not directly that I know of.
So we had a discussion at the end of the last episode that Dharma may have created the sentience of the island or something like that.
Yes.
So I was thinking of that in my mind and you remember that part where Henry is captive?
Yep.
And Henry is saying, he's talking about the real boss, and he's talking about how powerful and how all-knowing the real boss is, and and Tom Friendly's not the real boss, and all that stuff. Do you think he could be saying that the island is the real boss? Maybe the island took over Dharma and somehow is their leader now.
That means we need to have an AI and we need to have some sort of better equipment for an AI. But we don't know what is covered behind the concrete.
Yeah,
So it is still an opening question. Absolutely, yes.
I mean, in some sort of spiritual sense, not a technology sense.
Absolutely.
And I almost wonder if, like, it's birthed out of the Dharma technology, but it's spiritual, and so even the island itself is having a man versus science, man versus faith conflict with itself and its people, and
absolutely.
I don't know.
That is cool enough.
If that's if that's not the plot, I think after this is over, we should write a story.
This is how it should be. Okay, well, that's one thing. No, we'll see, because I still have some concerns about the island being, well, violated as well.
Yeah. Well, let's go back, if you don't mind. Let's go back through some observations, questions that we had before we watched season 2.
Yes, this is awesome, because I had actually forgotten about these ones.
So you had made a list. Do you want to take us through that?
We can take one at a time each. Well, the first thing I wrote down was must go down into the hole, the bunker. That needs to be priority 1. Now, finally, someone is listening to me, because there were several who thought that should be priority 1. But they need to do some kabooming. They need dynamite to get in there. And then we had, and that made me. You always say that orientation episode 3, is one of your favorites. And actually now when I'm looking back at it, yes, that really was one of the better ones, because that when Dharma Initiative came in and really made mess of my head.
Yeah, it seeds a whole bunch of stuff that we're still not fully grappling with.
Absolutely not. And then I had that all of them on the raft is actually floating ashore again.
Yeah, the raft scenes were way better than I remembered them. I felt like the raft was really short. I forgot the whole thing about Sawyer and Michael on 2 separate piles of debris, and Jin was lost. That was awesome.
Yep. So that also made me. Also, I needed more meetings with 2-legged people. That is the others, of course, and that is also made true.
Yeah.
That was cool, but that was an easy one to guess, actually. And then I wanted to see the security robots.
Yeah.
And that we didn't do, but we did get a closer look at the shadow thing.
Yeah, well,
if that's not the same thing, I don't know. I have no idea.
Wait, what do you refer to when you mean the security robots?
Those ones who is tearing down, or at least it seems like they're tearing down the
trees
and stuff. Yeah.
Oh, okay. That I believe that was the black smoke monster doing that.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Did Danielle say that it was a security robot? I think that's why you have that in your notes, right?
Yes, probably.
Okay. Yeah, so we definitely saw that with Mr. Echo. We saw really good computer-generated imagery compared to season 1.
Absolutely.
But we don't...
sorry.
I was just going to say, we still don't really know anything more about it, except that some people, it shows them something, and some people, it kills them.
Yep. And still, that also makes... It's interesting to see that monster together with Mr. Echo. They are looking at each other. I don't know anywhere to explain it. It seems like they stood eye to eye, and the monster had to back down because Mr. Echo, we wouldn't do that. I like that.
I just thought of something, actually. Yeah. So the black smoke monster. So far, what we've seen, the only person that was tried to be taken by the smoke monster and dragged off was John.
Yes.
And Henry and his team are trying to get John, at least that's what they're saying.
Yes.
So I wonder if the black smoke monster is part of the island, why doesn't the island just take or use that? Why I don't think it would need to employ these humans. I think they are working
No.
separate from the island.
Yes, and that's really one feeling. And it's also this that even if the others, with Henry probably high up in the hierarchy, is saying that they are the good ones, I always get a very good, strong feeling that they are the bad guys all the time. And still, I can't motivate it because I don't know their motivation yet.
Yeah, it feels like they are, what is it, the anti-hero where they have to do
Yeah,
bad things for the greater good.
something like that.
Yeah.
I can buy that, so it's not that
So,
far away.
well, I took you off your list. I'm sorry.
Yep.
Go ahead.
Well, and then I said time perspective. I mean weeks, years. I mean I need to. There are several things like Desmond. How long was he on the island? Was it 3 years or 6 years or how long? I really don't get it. And the flashbacks are jumping in time, and that really makes me annoyed. Now in season 2, we actually had more flashbacks hopping 13 days instead of 13 years. And
Yeah.
actually, that is good.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. They were shorter. They were island flashbacks, not necessarily off island
Exactly.
as often. Yeah.
And looking at that part when Desmond meets, well, it was one of the last ones when Desmond meets with Kelvin and that stuff. That was really good. It
I
was
agree.
the last episodes, actually. Now you look back on it. I have two more flashbacks with Locke and his father. Yes, we got that.
But no wheelchair.
No wheelchair. Totally right. We need to see wheelchair.
Yeah.
Or how did he get into it? And then Sarah and Jack get married. Then children? Question mark. They got divorced. That we knew, so that was nothing new. But we also got to see how it went. And that was totally not good. I didn't really like that at all. So many things that I saw coming for season 2 actually came true as well. But it's easy to guess some of them.
Yeah.
I mean that we are going to see more of the others. That's probably pretty obvious.
Okay. Well, I have some notes that I was taking all along from you, and I'm not sure that all these have paid off yet. So I've been deleting some as they've been resolved, but the ones that are left, Locke is the voice of the island, which I think he lost it and got it back, and I'm not sure where he is right now, actually.
At the moment, Mr. Echo has his voice.
Okay. And then you said
He's coming back.
that Locke goes through life waiting for death. Do you think that's still...
That was a strange sentence. Did I say that? Well, I did.
I think that was probably in regards to his flashbacks, but I think
Yeah, that's most likely.
he's not...
He has
no longer.
nothing. He has... Before the crash, he had no longer something to live for. That was the general feeling I got from his flashbacks.
Yeah.
So he's just waiting for his death. Yeah.
Okay, so that's not applies to current day on the island.
Not as yet.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, he will need both Mr. Echo and Rose to get back on track on the real place. Now he knew that he had wrong about the button. We'll see if that will help him find his way back. But he also need to find out that Pearl was also an experiment because he needs to know that as well. Hopefully Hurley can help him with that.
Oh, that's right, because some people know and some people don't. I
Exactly.
forget they haven't shared. So you also at one point said, and these are mostly in chronological order, that the island is controlling his actions. I think we see that he does have choice. He still makes some wrong choices as far as the island's concerned.
Yes.
So that one is not directly true.
Well, let's get back to when that poor boy Boone got killed in that aircraft. Locke couldn't go any further.
Oh, true.
And where did he stop crawling? He stopped straight on top of the Pearl.
Well, and the blast doors came down and pinned his legs and injured his legs again.
Yes.
Right when he's looking up at the blast door.
Yeah.
So I see this. I think the island does want him to find the other stations.
Yes.
I
He
think
needs to have them to have the complete picture and stay on the island forever.
I think the island wants. See, this is what I was maybe unconsciously forming earlier. The island wants Locke. This is my prediction.
Yeah.
I got to write this down. The island wants Locke to take the thorn out of its paw, which is the technology.
Yeah.
Or take the leash off of it, which is Dharma. I'm not sure which one yet.
Write that down.
Write that down.
Yes.
Okay. Island wants. And why Locke?
Because he's the easiest to get hold of, because he has nothing, absolutely nothing to live for. When he comes to the island, he had been, he couldn't even go on an adventure trip because he sat in a wheelchair. He was totally down.
Yeah.
He's even phoning strange ladies in the middle of the night and all that. He's lost his hair.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's normal.
Well,
You said the others do experiments on kids, which I think we've confirmed, but we haven't seen it. And
that was a probably mental test they did to Walt, questionnaires and stuff.
Yeah. And you said stem cell stuff with the babies. We haven't quite gotten into that.
No, but we need to see that motivation. That is really something I would love to see more of in season 3.
Yeah.
I can just as well write that down. I need to see more of the motivation of the others.
Now, at one point you said that you thought the island might be sinking, which I don't think we saw any evidence of that.
Nope, nothing under season 2.
But what you qualified that with was you said that the island is forcing them towards the middle.
Yes.
Now, I think this could actually still be true because the question mark in the middle and the stations all sort of pointing in towards the middle. There is something important about the middle.
Yes, that's true. That's true. But now they have moved away from the raping caves and down to the beach again.
You like that word.
Yeah, I really do, because it has nothing to do with the real world. That's probably why. But that's also, Shannon didn't have anything to do with the real world, so it fitted.
Yeah, so we may come back to this one, but I think this one is not quite what you.
No, it's not what I thought it would be. So, but it is something that it can do.
Yep. Walt is so special the island can't directly mess with him. I think we covered that.
Yeah.
I haven't seen...
And it doesn't seem like the others can't either.
Yeah. I had a note that Charlie specifically shot 4 times. We haven't really seen any importance of that yet, but
nope.
You said the island might be in a time loop based on the radio from the Beechcraft and then the old music. Okay.
That's not true.
I don't think so, because remember that one point either Sawyer or somebody joked about, oh no, it was Hurley. They were like saying we don't know where we are, and then Hurley said or when. Yes. And then there's just a pause and he's like, just kidding, dude. I think that was the showrunners like confirming that it's not anything to do with time travel.
And the Russian scientist in that last base actually proves that no, it can't be a time loop. Yeah. In that case, they would probably do that over and over again as well. And this was just the second time they got that signal.
Yeah. Danielle's crew are part of the others. We haven't seen anything about that, but
Alex.
But now, oh yeah, that's true. Well, now
and if Alex is there, probably the others as well.
I mean, I think because essentially the others have 3 of our people hostage, so we're definitely going to see them take them back to their real base. That's my prediction, because we know their other base is fake.
We will see that later in some sort of flashback when they are released or they are running away. Well,
no, we have to, because they have them all at gunpoint tied up. I mean,
but nothing going to happen to them, so we don't need to follow them.
Oh, you think we're just not going to see what happens? You think
I'm
we're going to...
not totally sure we are going to see that, but if
Oh.
we are going to see yet another bunker, probably.
Because I don't think we're going to have too many episodes without those three main actors in it, though. I
Oh, you mean so? Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
They are paid to be there, so they need to be there. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think we have. We're going to stray a second here into prediction, but I think we have Saeed on the boat,
Yep.
right? Something he's not done yet. He's got to show up and either see them or try to rescue them.
Yes.
Which, okay, I'll hold on to that thought. And then we have Hurley making his way back to the camp, and I think is Locke still at the hatch? Yes, he was in it when it blew up.
Yes, him and Desmond.
So we have the hatch, we have the beach, we have Hurley, Saeed, and then the captured people. We have 5.
And Michael and Walt.
Yeah. Michael and Walt. Oh yeah, that's true. 6. So we might see what happens when they try to leave.
Yep, and the first thing they should actually come across is Jin and Sun on the sailboat.
Oh, now that's interesting.
They are not that far away from each other, as far as I can tell from my rotation skills.
Oh, so is he going to lie, or he's going to say they were captured and they escaped, and Walt's going to tell him he's lying? Oh, this could be good. Yeah.
Yes, because now Michael needs to tell Walt what Walt must or mustn't say, and I'm not totally sure that Walt will do that anyway. That's going to be very funny. Ooh. A loose cannon. If there is anything like a loose cannon, that's Walt.
Well, now Michael has the coordinates to get off the island, and they have a bigger boat.
Yes.
Interesting. Okay,
so
well,
if they meet,
let's see.
That should be really in the first episode already.
Yeah, could be. Now you said at one point that you thought there were more islands than just the one. No sign of that yet, I don't think.
Nope. It might be me seeing an island that is long, but it felt like there was some island to the left of this one from where we saw it. It's
okay.
Tough.
Yeah, no, I'll keep it in the list. I mean, who knows? There's more than one group of others. Do you still feel that way?
No.
I don't think so.
Yes. No.
I think it's one group. They pretended to be primitive, and
and they are a bit dull, or I'm not totally sure how intelligent they are. But in that group, they are 2 groups, but they are the others. Yeah. Let's see how many groups we still have. The tailies have been joining the fuselage, so they are 1, and there's only 2 tailies left, so. No counting. Then we have the others, and the others, I say, is divided in gun holders and not gun holders.
Oh.
I don't think everybody needs a gun. They can do anything else.
Well, it's kind of like the beach folks, too.
Yeah. So that's probably like it. And they might be other survivors from other catastrophes, including Danielle's. So that's okay. And then we have the island. That's a group for himself. Now, I don't know how to pinpoint Dharma in this, because it feels like Dharma could either be the others, or the island, or something separate, or all 3.
Well, yeah, I don't know.
Then we have Danielle.
Yeah, I feel like
she's
she's what she seems. She crashed there. She was part of things. She separated herself, and that she's being tolerated to a degree.
Yeah, more or less, because she's alone, and she hasn't all hamsters at home. She doesn't have that.
Yeah.
But and the reason I say that is actually every time she meets with any of the others, she doesn't want to join them ever, because she knows that she can handle herself better on her own, and that's really not human-like to do. I mean, if there's a big group of people and you are one of those who can both hunt and provide food and such, she would make it much more easy for both herself and the gang.
Wait a minute.
She doesn't want to.
Could she be a plant like Oz, or like Ethan and Goodwin? Could she be part of the others just pretending
No.
to be?
If that actor is actually doing her work perfectly, I have seen scare in her eyes. I've seen real scare.
Okay.
And that was when she met Said. That was something that character didn't know how to handle. If she were a plant, she wouldn't have done what she did either. I don't believe so. What I still don't understand is why they haven't talked about the cable. But that has nothing to do with me at the moment. Now we know that
Well,
it
yeah,
might
they
be
haven't.
Dharma.
Yeah.
That's enough for me.
So I had a couple things, and I only actually have 3 things left from my list. The other ones have either been proved or disproved. One was I was wondering why Jack's dad was in Australia. I think we found that out. He had a daughter there.
Yes.
Did he really have a heart attack? That one we haven't answered yet. Did he really
Nope.
die?
We don't know that.
And I also
There are
still
several.
wonder if he's part of one of these mysteries, like the island. Like, does he know about the island? Does he know about Dharma? Something like that. He's very suspicious to me, and he was the first time, and he is again.
Yeah.
And
And
then
he's also popping up in everyone else's flashbacks.
Yeah.
He's the most connectable people we have at the moment.
Yeah, we
Yep.
basically see him convince Anna to go there.
Yeah.
We also see him convince Sawyer to go through with this thing, the shooting the guy, because
Yep.
Sawyer was going to give up. So, is that because the other coincidences have just been people passing, but his coincidence has been influential.
Yes, that's absolutely true. And since we don't know if he's really dead, we don't know if he's the big boss on the island, even.
Well, oh man, you know what? That feels like that could possibly be.
Well, I'm
Something
not
to do with
putting
that.
any money on it, but
No.
it might as well. Or at least he's one of their agents or something like
Mm-hmm.
that. You never know. But on the other hand, he couldn't predict that Desmond would not go and press the button at that point 8:15 passed by. If now Desmond put down the brain, which I believe.
If he is involved, right? So let's say I'm just playing this out. He fakes his death to get Jack to the island
Yep.
in order to do something there, and perhaps this is his, because you know how he was torn up because he couldn't tell Jack that he was happy that Jack turned him in. Maybe this is some way to resolve himself.
It seems a bit far-fetched, actually.
Yeah, I know. Well, I can't.
And there is one thing, a risk that he needs to take. Jack's father is a doctor, and that's okay. But Jack is also a doctor. Jack would want to see his dead father, naked if so is. He would want to see all the papers, all the autopsies, all the things. I mean, he's a doctor, so he needs to see those things before he can. He wants to be sure that everything that was needed to be done has been done.
Yes, but I still think it's possible that Jack is bringing home an empty coffin because he doesn't want to find his dad, and he's trying to fool himself, kind of thing. I don't know. Anyway,
Well, yeah. And then we have, again, the time perspective. That is always important, because if Jax comes down pretty late, he didn't know that he was dead, first of all. We don't know when he died and Jack was coming to Australia. I don't really know how many days apart that was.
it had to be pretty
Close.
close, because I think the linchpin is Sawyer. So Sawyer
Yeah.
was only like 2 or 3 days before he had to leave in a hurry.
Yep.
And he ran into both Anna and
Yes.
Christian, Jack's dad. So it's definitely things happened fast in Australia.
Yeah. And then we have the heat in Australia. That means that you cannot put people on ice if they're going to fly over.
That's true.
And so on. So there is a way for Jack to not to get to more than papers, and papers doesn't say anything. Anyone can write something on a paper, and that means that Jack perhaps didn't get the opportunity to examine Christian.
Yeah.
And that means that Christian is not dead.
Well, we may find out. So,
yeah.
Any other things that we want to look back on?
Well, we had in season 1 something that we called tabula rasa, the clean slate. And that slate is slipping for some and it's getting better for some. We can go back to Rose and her sickness. She's healthy now. Locke is actually not thankful anymore, but in his case there is more than one slate to be cleaned. Mr. Echo is having his clean slate still. Charlie is not having his clean slate. I don't understand that guy. I never.
I mean, if you count giving up drugs, and let's see, does he forgive his brother? Not yet.
No, not yet. And then he does a couple of stupid things because Sawyer says he should. And Sawyer doesn't have any clean slate. He doesn't understand it. He doesn't understand them.
Yeah, he's gone back. He's reverted.
Yeah, if he ever did go anywhere. Kate is not really doing any good clean slate either, but that's a stupid woman, so I'm not bothering with her.
Well, has she? I guess her whole thing is, has she finally stopped running? I don't quite think so.
That means that she's struggling against the clean slate. And so does Jack. Jack is actually also having all the chance now to clean himself from the hero marks and all that need to be doing, must be better than his father and all that stuff. All that he can now clean himself from, and he doesn't. He just keep on being the superhero and fails.
They said something in the bonus features about Jack's motivations, and that I think what they said was like his biggest issue is that he can't let go. He has to fix things, he just can't let them go, and
that's what he need to learn. To let go sometimes, and he doesn't. He doesn't know how to do that.
No, definitely not yet. And
I think that should be his clean slate, because he needs that in order to start being a human and live like a human. He hasn't done that so far. And that means that his flashbacks actually tells us more than we are thinking about.
Nah.
Okay, it was a good shot.
I'm just kidding. Yeah.
We are still missing Locke and his wheelchair.
Yep.
That we need to get to. It sounds funny that we are missing a wheelchair, but you know, you who follow us knows.
Yeah. Bernard doesn't really, at least we haven't seen that his slate needed to be cleaned. He came here...
Sort of. Take us back to that little... let's see, what was that one again? Never mind, I don't remember.
SOS.
Yeah. He is also one who can't stop trying to fix things.
Yeah.
And he is actually trying so hard that he's making a big fool of himself in front of everyone, but most of all the woman he loves. And suddenly he just says that, well, then we stay here. Then we don't go anywhere because you are healthy.
Yeah.
And suddenly that's a real turn of her hand, because doing something that demands you to be elder, wiser, you can't just do that decision. But that was his clean slate. And suddenly,
you're right.
Yeah, all things he did back home meant nothing suddenly. And that's pretty good. It's an awesome thought, actually.
Yeah, Echo would need to get redemption for his brother stuff.
Yeah.
His shepherding, maybe.
Yeah.
He's just...
But Echo is not seeing the things he should see. He is really trying hard to still keep the power, keeping the. I mean, being a priest means that you also have power, and he's trying to use that. So he's just a gang leader still. I'm not really sure that he's. We will see, because he must be involved in the Dharma and the island, mostly because that's needed. The only three persons the island really need is Rose, Locke, and Mr. Echo.
Now, are you saying Rose because of her faith?
Yes, that's totally clear.
So
You can't budge that woman. There's no argument in the world that can budge that woman.
So the vibe I get from Rose is more of a someone who's on the same wavelength as the island, but not somebody who's important to moving the story forward.
No, she's no story mover. Absolutely not.
Yeah, she just coexists alongside the island.
Yes, but let's say that they are arguing. Locke and Mr. Echo is arguing about the right way to go from now, and Rose passes by. She will fix that.
Okay.
I can almost see that scene in front of me.
Okay. Yeah. Could be.
But it won't be in the first three. I doubt that.
So that was kind of like what we thought before season 2. A lot of what we thought in, we're kind of bleeding into what we think will be in 3. I did want to also touch on the special features.
Yes.
So
I didn't watch all of them.
I thought the DVD was set up really cool. It was like you're in a Dharma 3-phase orientation thing.
Yeah.
I appreciated that. I particularly liked some of the Lost on Location stuff where you see behind the scenes of how.
Yeah, I skipped those. I'm totally scared of spoilers.
There were no spoilers. In fact, they talked about a character, but they did it in a really, like, I thought, here comes a spoiler, but they really didn't. So, but I actually learned a lot about that. I somehow didn't research this before, about how the film on a daily basis had to go from Hawaii to California for editing.
Okay.
And audio and color correction and compositing, and it took about 24 days to create one episode from start to finish.
Oh dear.
Yeah. And so, like, while they're filming, day 1 of a scene, they're on day 23 of a different scene in the editing process.
Okay.
They had to do a lot of automatic dialogue replacement. So, like, for example, they showed where, Charlie's swimming after the cradle floating in the water.
Yeah.
And he's shouting his lines, but you can't hear him because of the noise of the ocean. Yeah. So, like, actors would have to go back into the studio and re-say their lines without all the background noise.
Oh, dear.
And then they would mix that in with the footage. I just thought that was somewhat fascinating stuff.
That was it, but I still don't really remember what he said.
Yeah,
because I didn't hear it well.
He just shouted, Aaron.
Yeah.
But it's just an example. But, like, I mean, the behind-the-scenes stuff they had to go through was really interesting. And seeing them filming these... So, like, we might see a 5-minute sequence, but it might have been actually composed of, like, 50 different short 3-second shots.
Yeah.
And those shots were probably filmed to be 30 seconds, and they cut out a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Just really interesting. I think the difference for me, so when I watched the show first, there was no YouTube. Okay. I was not watching YouTube. I was not making and editing videos. Oh, and as you know, like, I've done a lot of complex editing. So to me, seeing this feature now was so much more impactful than back then.
And then you also know why you're doing your editing.
Yeah, and I could see, like, clips on the monitors behind them in the background, and I'm like, yep, that's what my clips look like.
So that's cool.
So that was cool. I got a lot out of the special feature. Now, I got a couple of things that were interesting in general, besides just the process.
Yeah.
And I think you mentioned this first one before, that Saeed, the actor who plays him, Naveen Andrews, his accent is so English.
That's pure British. I mean,
Oh my,
Charlie is a Brit, but his British is not near.
yeah.
It's more like a Cockney
But
or something.
it
That
doesn't even sound like Saeed. It sounds like a
no,
different octave and everything.
a professor on Oxford or
Yeah.
anything. I
Amazing.
mean, he could be an English teacher if it weren't for his looks, I suspect. So that's really pure. It's like Indians
Yeah.
that went to Oxford and they
Yeah.
had that type. Well,
And
it's totally fun because it's really fun.
and the other thing that surprised me is that the showrunners, the writers, they knew they had planned that Shannon was going to die before they even started filming season 2.
Oh, that
That
I didn't saw.
Yep,
Okay.
yep, they mentioned that because and they Naveen Andrews was the person who suggested that he should go for Shannon. And then they worked that
Okay.
into the script, and that gave him another reason to be in a certain mind state they want him in.
Cool.
So yeah, a little bit about how they shaped the show, like way
Yeah.
before.
But that's cool when they are cooperating with the actors, so
Yeah,
it's easier to make them characters because that was the first thing
yeah,
I noticed really on episode 1.
yeah.
There are characters here. They're just not a bunch of survivors. They
No,
are pure characters.
well, and the actors sometimes film scenes out of order, so
Yeah.
they don't have as much knowledge. So sometimes an actor will get a script like 2 days before, so they'll
Yeah.
have some advanced knowledge of the character.
Yeah.
But sometimes they'll be filming something in the future that and they have less knowledge than the character. So it's a really tricky thing with continuity.
Yeah.
And the other thing that I learned, and this I thought was pretty cool, is that Rose's whole flashback story was based on her real life situation. So during the pilot, Rose's
Okay.
husband was dying from cancer.
Oh,
And they purposely worked with her and worked that into her character because she could relate to it and, she wanted
that's
to.
oh,
Yeah.
that's so clever. That's awesome.
Yeah. So that was cool. That was
Yeah.
cool. And then the other thing, so I watched a couple of these episodes on YouTube because I didn't have my DVDs with me. And
Okay.
I noticed that one of the techniques that YouTube people have to get around copyright is they mirror the
Yeah.
film, so some things are written backwards. Well, when they were actually filming in Australia, they couldn't find enough cars that had the steering wheel on the opposite side of the car. And so instead, because they were actually filming in Hawaii, not in
Yeah.
Australia. So
Exactly.
what they did was they left the cars with the steering wheel on the left,
Yeah.
and in the background, the stores, all that stuff, they flipped all the signs backwards. And they told the actors to, like, take your wedding ring off, put it on your other hand.
Oh,
Take your watch, put it on your other wrist. So they actually reversed everything while they were filming it, just so that the car steering wheel would look like it's on the correct side.
well, that's one way.
Yeah.
It's
So
it's it's a good way, but still, it's more costful than just shooting down in Australia.
I don't know. I thought that was fascinating too.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then it was nice for me to hear the actors giving their theories of what they think is going
Yeah,
on.
that I saw as well. It wasn't that enlightening, I must
No,
say. It wasn't at all.
but it just you I could see, like, some of the gleam in their eyes, like they are
Yeah,
looked at as the experts, but really they know less or the same as us, because when they did those interviews, the season wasn't even done yet. So
exactly. Anna Lucia
okay,
was she was actually also predicting things, and I knew she was dead.
yeah. Well, it was interesting how they talked about her, because I think I mentioned she basically got written out of the show because they didn't want her there with a DUI. So
Nope.
I expected it to be not hostile, but like uncomfortable. But it
Yeah,
seemed very cordial.
absolutely.
So all right. So should we look at predictions and what we
Yeah.
want from season 3?
Well, you started to separate those two, and I was thinking having them together. But you're right. We should probably do it. Predictions first,
Yeah.
then. You predict. You said something about we are going to see the other's base. I'm not totally sure about that.
I think that the next thing we're going to see regarding Jack and Kate is they're going to get, because they're at gunpoint, they're tied up. They're going to get
Yeah.
marched back to wherever the others really live. And since we've only seen them in the huts and stuff till now,
Yeah.
it's going to be some sort of shocker for us. Like, I almost want to say something like a space age advanced technology. Like,
Okay.
remember I said those electric taser darts? Like,
Yeah, you said so, but I'm not totally sure.
like they're gonna walk into like a Star Trek kind of base where they're more advanced than we are off the island.
Okay. Well, I would rather predict something in the lines of the Dharma Initiative, that they have a big base where they can all live. But you're right about one thing. There need to be a big base because there are plenty of those, the others. At least there were 5 or 6 doctors when we saw Claire. They need to be
Yeah.
somewhat. And I'm not totally sure if all these barefoot people are doctors or something like that. It's hard to see.
You know what? I bet there's 105 others, and they need these 3 people to get their number to 108.
Well, we have already scrambled the other 108, so why not?
I'm just making this up as we go along. I gotta write that one down too.
Yeah, but I doubt that. I'm not really sure that they are going to be. Now, we need to, if anything, I hope, and that is not a prediction, I hope, that's something I want to see,
Okay.
that we get some sort of hint on what the motivations is from the others.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I hope that goes along with your thinking of the base.
Oh yeah. I think season 1 was our characters. Season 2
Yes.
was this Dharma.
Yeah.
The context of the island,
Yes.
but the island's environment. I think season 3 is just taking the lid off the others.
Yes, I think we need to. It's not needed as such, but there is some other stuff that's going on as well. Yeah, we'll see. Now, the good thing about this situation we have is that Jack now knows about the Claire incident, and Claire and Kate was down in that hatch.
Yes.
Sawyer doesn't.
Now, oh, that's interesting. So Claire. Well, okay, maybe let's keep on going, but maybe we should do like person by person. What do we think is going to happen?
Yes. Well, that could be one thing.
Because Claire has had her baby, and I don't really see her doing anything other than sitting on the beach.
Nope. So the question is, can they monitoring her baby from where they are?
Okay. Ooh, yeah, that's a
If
good
you're
question.
talking high tech, why not? And that means that he is not in their position to be of any use. And I say he, Aaron. Claire is of no use to them. So
Do you think we're going to get a fast forward? Do you think this season might start a couple years later where Aaron is
Nope.
like a kid?
nope, not with the situations we have.
Okay.
No. We have Saeed on the beach or on the sailboat. No, he's back on the sailboat.
Yes,
Together with Jin and Sun. There's a boat that can be used to get out of there. We have Michael and Walt on another boat. We don't know how much fuel is in there, but there's another way of getting plenty of people off the island.
okay, so
You can't
Saeed,
just skip that to 2 years ahead.
let's go Saeed and Jin and Sun.
We are jumping anyway. You can hear that, right?
Yeah, I feel like they are going to try to rescue our friends. And I'm a little bit worried. I think Danielle might even join them. And I wouldn't be surprised if Danielle gets killed like she'll see her daughter there with the others and then get killed.
Okay.
And I wonder if the others are gonna, if the others know about Sun being pregnant or not.
We doubt that, don't we?
I don't know. I mean, they seem to know a lot about
That's
everything else.
interesting as well. Yeah, they are on top of things, of course they are, but
Yeah.
they didn't allow Henry to be down at the beach. So
True.
there shouldn't be any information about Sun. Unless Kate have told him.
Could be
Well, that's a tough one.
interrogated.
That's a tough one.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's take the 3-1 first. I think we still need to get that. Jack, Kate, and Sawyer are not going to be part of the others. That's not the point. I don't think so. But what did they want them for? Well, perhaps to pacify the rest of the group. Because by bringing those three away from the beach is now safe to go down and pick people again.
I mean, I don't know if they are capable of escape. I think they're smart enough not to try it, although Kate might try. Oh, maybe Kate will get shot.
Oh, that would be good. Oh, sorry.
I think someone's going to have to try to rescue them. Otherwise, they're going to be given up on, and people on the beach are never going to come across that line. Like, there's no one left at the beach except Locke. Oh, yeah, Locke? I don't think Locke would try to rescue them. I think he would try.
Charlie would do that.
That would be dumb.
Yes,
I think, oh man, I'm going off on a tangent here. I think Locke will be like, oh, they're gone. They're out of the picture. I'm going to be the boss now.
Well, then Mr. Echo will take him down.
Oh, yeah, that could be. That could be.
They are having their part of their own party at the moment. And the only one that really gets into that party would be, or should be, should I say, Rose, as I said before. But that's also one other problem, because Mr. Echo and Locke has all to do with the island and the Dharma. They are not interested in the others.
Well, we may not even see a hatch when we get back. It might have blown up.
Absolutely.
Which is kind of a scary thought.
Yeah. And what else do we have that is doing stuff down at the beach? Not much. Sayid is the only one, as they said. He's the only one who's been in a war. Would he go and get the others? No, probably not.
I don't think so.
He's not willing to be a boss at the moment. He would have done it in the first season, but now he's not interested anymore. But you are totally right about one thing. Sayid might actually try to do some stealth thing. Perhaps together with Danielle.
And I think if he does that, then like Sun is going to get captured because she's kind of the weak position right now.
Yes.
And I'm talking about this from like a story building perspective, not from the characters themselves, but like she's sort of tagging along. They're going to capture her, use her to stop Sayid and Jin, maybe even kill. I don't think Sayid will get killed off.
No.
Sun or Jin or Danielle, I feel like one of those four.
Yeah. But the problem is that I don't think that Sayid and the boat are going to go to that pier we were at that point. I don't think so. And they are going to get into the jungle pretty quick with their prisoners. So I'm guessing more or less that Hurley is going down to the beach, got picked up by the boat, and is going to tell them about it. Because that's the only way they are going to go after the three immediately. Otherwise, they have... Yeah.
Sorry, I forgot what we said earlier. So, yeah. So you think the sailboat is going to encounter Michael and Walt's boat?
That might happen because they are pretty close as far as I can get it to.
And
if so, then Michael, will he or will he not tell about what has happened? Because he doesn't really know that Sayid is actually there because of him.
Well, I'm trying to think what he would do, right? Because he's not going back to the island at this point. No way.
Michael.
Maybe he's going to meet the boat and they're going to end up transferring Sun onto his boat, and then he's going to leave with Sun and Walt and leave them behind while they go ashore
No.
to rescue or something like that.
No. Jin is determined to not leave Sun anymore because of the baby. You can't rewrite that character. That's not really going. But as you also said, the first half of season 3 would go a bit off the side. So we don't know. But if we should start season 3, I doubt that we are going to see any hunting parties immediately. And as you also said, Michael and Walt is going to leave the island. But according to my predictions, they will never leave the island. It will not happen. And there is a problem because the island doesn't want Walt.
I don't know.
Then we have something else, and that is Miss Whitmore.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
That
that's
is
right.
going to be a totally new adding to the features here.
Yeah, that's right. So it's going to take her at least a week or two to get to the place where the signal came from.
Yes.
I would guess.
Can triangulate to that, yes.
So probably mid-season then, I would guess she will send somebody. That makes total sense.
Yes.
I want to see more of that,
yeah,
actually.
but that means also Desmond needs to be alive. That's one person we haven't talked much about. You're afraid he's dead. I'm hoping that he's not. We need to keep him up because Locke has got to tell someone he was wrong. And Desmond is a good one.
Yeah. That's a very good point.
Yeah.
That is a good point. He can't be dead.
Well, he can be. That's totally true. But it's not a good thing if he is. Because
Not from a TV show perspective.
Miss Whitmore won't go about finding him. And if she does and he's dead, she wouldn't bother with the others. And, as you also said, what if her father actually has bought the Dharma Initiative and all that stuff, and that suddenly goes into something? You never know. And then I'll still have that Mr. Inman going around. Is he dead or not? There is a lot of people who had died, but they're not dead enough. Charlie has died, he's still not dead.
You mean like when he was hung
Yeah.
or drowned? I think he died too and he drowned, right?
Yep.
And then they brought him back.
Yeah. So,
well, there's this whole... So there was that whole thing about him saving Aaron that either it's done and it was just meant to make him on the bad list again, or somehow that will come back.
Yeah. But Charlie is actually the loose horse here. He's not really adding much more than disturbance.
Yeah, I agree.
Force. So I'm not going to predict anything about Charlie, and the only thing I want with him is that he's going to die. But that's not going to happen.
Well, I hope that he doesn't go back to the drugs now, because now Claire is accepting him back.
Well, he has thrown them out to the sea, and if he's lucky, he will never find them again.
Did he throw them all out to the sea?
Well, I hope they were all of them.
No, I thought we saw... Hold on a second here. Locke had them in the Gunn's place. Then Sawyer had them. He brought them back to give the medicine.
Yeah.
Did Charlie still have some, though?
He did throw them out. The Locke saw him throw them.
And there was more there than just a few that Locke had, right? No, I think they're gone, actually.
Yes, I think they're gone.
I think they're
gone.
But
they're just dropped down a few meters out on the ocean. He can probably get down there. He doesn't even have to dive for them. But I don't think we have... That drug problem is gone. I think that is gone. But his stupid mind isn't.
I'm not sure. Claire and Charlie both, I don't know what...
Well, they're together at the press.
They may become like Rose and Bernard, just they're in the background, they add a little here and there, but they're not the drivers. Yeah.
However, Claire is one of those who can come later on, late season 4, start of season 5 or something, if this goes on and Aaron is half a year old or something like that. As a baby, he's not doing much. And that is all about Aaron, not about Claire. We'll see how strong she is. And as you also said, is Jack's father, is he dead or not? That's also something to think of. The only people that I still really wants to evolve more is Locke and Mr. Echo and their connection. The island is going to evolve whatever I do or say.
And yeah, or Echo. I'm torn on Echo. Which, by the way, his character had a different name in the original scripts, and then Mr. Echo himself came up with the name of Echo because of its meaning in his native language or something. So that's another thing I forgot to mention. So Echo. So like this whole religious church thing, is it a church of the island or is it a church of like Catholic faith from his old life?
Oh, that is a good question, actually, because now that you say it, I feel like it's actually the Church of the Island.
Yeah.
It's this thing of being healed, like a fully person again. The fact with Mr. Echo is that he found his dead brother in the beechcraft, and that is really his turning point.
Does he see the island as part of his Catholic? I'm assuming he's Catholic, by the way.
Yeah, probably.
As part of the Catholic missionary faith, and it's one in the same because he's still putting scripture on his stick.
Yes, but that's because he doesn't want to forget about them.
So he's not seeing the island as a new, different god. He's seeing it as the god.
Yes,
Sort of.
the God who made this planet and also made places on this planet that is having healing powers. He's just went to Australia and learned about it over there, and suddenly that was not true, but well, they were true. And now he's going to a real island who has real magical powers, and well, I think he knows more. Yeah. But he doesn't know that Locke has been in a wheelchair. He didn't know anything about Rose. But I think that he thanks God that he found his brother again. I think it's a mix. It's a mix.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, basically, what we're saying is there's so many possibilities, so many open questions that we're real eager to get to season 3.
And the fact is that it was Mr. Echo who had that last bit that was Radinsky had taken away from the instructions, the information film. And that was Mr. Echo of all people. So he was already connected to the Dharma.
And it was in a Bible, so that...
And it was in the Bible, so connect those dots and you find that it is the island, the Dharma, and the church. But which church? Well, I say it's the island's church. The church of the island. He's making it with the island sticks and it helps him get it or something. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, the only other character we didn't really touch on is Desmond.
Yeah.
He's still, he's basically at the hatch / with the beach people.
Yeah.
I don't know I don't know if he's a fighter though.
He's disillusioned. He's having had his doubts, and it takes a while for him to come back.
Yeah, so
but
Hurley...
let's see if Desmond finds the pearl and goes down there and see what he sees. Perhaps he can connect some other dots.
Well, and Hurley's walking back by himself.
Yep,
it's going to take him a day or two.
Yes.
Is he going to make it? Is he going to make it back to the beach, or is he going off on something else that we don't see coming?
He should. Well, that's an interesting thought. I'm thinking about Hurley getting in the background, more or less. He's now degraded to an information. He's the postman.
Yeah.
Will he even get back? Perhaps he's suddenly become the gorilla man and he's following the others and trying to do a rescue or
like a Danielle.
Yeah. And he might even meet any one of them. Well, we'll see. And then we have Alex. Alex is actually a very important figure because she is the daughter of Danielle, but also he hasn't accepted the others. She's with them and she's one of them, but she hasn't really accepted them
She
because
was raised by them, right?
yes, and she doesn't like to be raised by them. That's why she helped Claire.
Well, I I'm not saying no, but I'm just saying that from what we've seen so far, maybe she just didn't like how they treated Claire. We don't really know that she didn't like being there.
Okay, then I predict
You know
we are going to see flashbacks from Alex.
that she doesn't like being there.
Yep, and how she was raised. Perhaps he was also tested.
I think so. If we get a lot of stuff in, I mean, I think the others. So these our friends are going to get taken somewhere,
Yep.
and we're either going to see a big action escape, or we're going to be there for a while. And in that case, I would agree with you that we're going to get their side of the story, basically.
Yes,
Like
that might happen.
maybe we'll get another 48 days kind of
Might
thing.
even, or 48 years or whatever. Because we still don't have that time perspective that I want. It's Dharma, it corrected one thing at least, and that was that it was back in 1980. That was a good one. But as you said, perhaps we are now going to leave the beach for a while. Perhaps we are going to have a show that is in their base. And if it's a big base, then it's going to be a lot of action there. And all is surrounded these prisoners. Why not?
Yeah, they do, and they do have to come back to our beach sometime.
Yeah.
It's this is what I meant. Like, it's in a very complicated place, and some people thrive on it. I'm enjoying it a lot. Some people, it's too much, and they're out. So
This is a very good chess game. Absolutely.
yeah. Well, is it chess or is it the Go?
I'm not totally sure. I haven't
Backgammon.
played Go, so yeah,
The one that Locke was playing with Walt, backgammon.
backgammon. Yeah.
It feels actually like that because like you're trying to get certain pieces to a
Yep.
goal. You're moving forward, backward.
Yep. And suddenly you go back up to the wall and sits there a while, and then you go back and start all over again.
I
Why not?
I wouldn't be surprised to find out that the writers have a simulated backgammon thing that they are keeping track of in parallel to the show to see
Yep.
who's winning, black or white, kind of something.
Yeah. And then
Oh,
they're
actually,
putting money on it.
we could get into a whole episode talking about who's black and who's white. in
Yeah,
this show.
absolutely.
So,
Well, it is still on, at least. And that's
yep, I got my DVD.
yes, you got your DVDs. I've already put mine by the TV. So,
And I'm literally like wanting to put it in now. So
well, that makes two of us. So perhaps we should just drop our listeners off, and do please, if you are able to comment on the YouTube channels, if you have any predictions or any upcoming that you don't remember. But
Yeah.
please, not too many spoilers because I don't read spoilers at the moment.
well, I should say one more thing.
Yeah.
So I have seen season 3. This is when I started watching it live.
Yes.
I know for sure what happens with Jack, Kate, Sawyer. I know what happens with Desmond, Charlie,
Okay.
Claire. I think I cannot remember what happens with Jin's son Saeed at all in season 3.
Okay.
Who am I forgetting? Ben and Rose. I kind of know what happens. I don't remember what happens with Danielle. I'm sure I'll think of it more. But should we? So we're gonna definitely cover the first 3 episodes of
Yes.
season 3. Do you want to
Yes.
know the titles?
Well, why not?
Okay, the first one is A Tale of Two Cities.
Okay.
Now, does that change your prediction of what happens in the episode?
No,
Okay.
because the most of these titles is actually referring to flashbacks.
That's true. I was just thinking it would be the beach city versus the other city,
Yeah.
but
That's the other meaning of it.
okay, episode 2. This one I have no idea. The Glass Ballerina.
Ooh, she's dead.
Ballerina is Russian, right?
Yes.
Okay, never mind. I have an idea.
Might be Miss White Whitmore. Yeah, man.
And then the episode 3 is Further Instructions. Now,
Back to Dharma again. Thank you.
well, in fact, I remembered that this episode was coming up. I don't remember what happens in it, but the title I remember.
Yep.
And in the second to last episode that Echo was in,
Yeah.
John said, "Well, what do we do now?" And Echo said, "We wait for further instructions." I clearly remember making a mental note of that moment.
Yes, that's true.
So I'm thinking Echo is finally... I think that's going to be an Echo one.
Yep, that might be. What do we need in flashbacks while we're talking about it? I still need to see the wheelchair.
Yeah.
We don't need any more Kate, right?
We really don't.
I think we are missing a bit of Sawyer.
I'd like to know why Desmond was in prison.
Yes, that's way back, but that I don't think we're getting that far back. We might actually be there because we might actually get flashbacks from Penny Whitmore. So Penny is also one of the players.
If she gets to the island.
Even if she doesn't, she is introduced, right?
Yeah.
We are not going to get any more of Charlie. I doubt that. Mr. Echo, we might actually get more of him.
And you said flashbacks of the others, like learning their story.
Yeah.
That seems like the most opportunity to explore.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the pictures of all the characters on this cover of this DVD.
Yeah. I'm not.
There's
doing
one
that.
I don't even recognize, so don't look
exactly.
too close.
I don't want.
Hurley, I think we're good on his backstory.
Yes.
Locke, I mean, we got to see.
Except for one thing. What if he suddenly remembers when he saw Libby?
Oh, yeah.
That
good.
we might actually get a flashback of.
Yep, that's true.
So that's...
actually, and he's on a long walk, so that's a perfect time for him to think about her and miss her and suddenly...
Yes, absolutely. We'll see. So she will be back. Claire might have something more to drop. I don't really feel like she's have anything more interesting, but we never know. And as you said, perhaps the others will have some flashbacks. Saeed might actually have some holes we still haven't got anything of. I think we've done with him, but still, you don't know.
I think so too.
If they're going to keep up with the flashbacks, that is. I'm not totally sure that they're going to do that for 6 seasons.
You don't think so? I mean, that's their thing, though. That's like what... That's one thing that kind of the show is known for.
Yeah, but it doesn't feel like... I mean, well, that is if you're separating people and then we get to... Okay, this is what the others did while you was watching this. If they can't do it at the same time, well, okay. But that means they are keeping something secret for... Well, that's something they do, so why not? Okay,
we didn't see Danielle's flashback, right?
Nope.
She only talked about it.
Yes.
But if we are going to see more of Alex growing up, I think you're right. That's fertile ground.
Yeah. And we are getting more people in, of course, more characters. And they are not just stupid people who are following orders. They also have some backstory.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, it's really hard to think of who they can add, unless it's people from the others or that Penny sends.
Yep.
I mean, so let's see, there's been 3 boats on the island, the Black Rock, the sailboat, and Danielle's boat. There's been a hot air balloon, 2 planes. There's not really many more ways people can get to the island.
That's true, except for a space rocket or something like that. That's
Oh, and
true.
I want to see where the damn food is coming from.
Yeah, that would be nice. That would absolutely be nice. The fact that they are still delivering food and supplies 25 years after, they don't even know if it's working.
And
Or perhaps they do.
and why is food only coming to the one station?
Yeah, that's also. Well, that we don't know either.
Right, because we didn't see the tail section people were there 48 days in a station. They never got any food.
Nope, nothing at all. But that might be dropped down because that
Oh,
could only be some supply storage or anything. You don't know that.
oh, wait. Sorry. The implication is that the food only comes once every 50 or more days.
Yeah,
Maybe it only comes every 60 days. So
might.
nobody has had food drop since they crashed.
Nope.
But now, if we went back there, maybe they would have a food drop all over.
Yes, and you might see pallets back at the base for the others as well that they had taken.
I would not doubt that. That makes a lot of
That's
sense.
yeah. But we didn't see anything except for those fake Dharma doors at that village.
Well,
They have.
and that also does imply too that we would have to see where Dharma is today then in the
Yeah,
real world, not on the island, right?
exactly. I feel like we don't perhaps need it, but it feels like that could be something. Perhaps adding it in, I don't know, season 4, perhaps. And
If
I still guess that they are providing energy through that cable. That's Dharma.
is that electrical or is that
I don't
communication?
know. It might even be both, but if it's built back in the 80s, yeah, why not?
I don't know. Man,
If it were built today, it would be satellite anyway, if it were communications.
if it can, I mean, they have all that disturbance, and I just don't know.
Ah, that's true.
But then again, a physical line to the island seems just as
Yeah.
problematic. We, we talked a lot longer than I thought we would.
Yep.
I'm enjoying this a lot.
Should we break up and go watch? No, we'll go and see what we can do.
Yeah, we need to go watch. We need to
Yeah,
go watch.
probably.
And we will be back next week to cover those first three.
Yes,
I'm sure we will have lots more speculation.
absolutely. They almost surprised me with the first episode last time, so I'm hoping for one more.
Ah, yeah, that's true. I would have. See, I'm just expecting it to pick up right where it left off, but you're right. They got to throw in some kind of a
Yeah.
twist. Yeah.
Well, we'll see.
Maybe they jump. Well, I don't even know if this makes sense, but like jump, like I said, to the future where Aaron's a kid, and
Yeah.
then you start seeing the rest of what happens on the island in flashbacks of a future time.
Yeah, that's one way.
I don't know.
Putting it.
And
Well, we'll see.
Aaron is dating Sun and Jin's daughter.
Yeah, that would be nice, right? Well, then then the island is one old planet for themselves.
So,
I
all
don't
right.
think so. Penny Whitmore is going to ruin everything. Yes.
Okay. I'm not saying anything. Can't say anything.
Well, I have the pleasure of looking forward something I know nothing about.
Yes, I mean, hey, this season, a lot of stuff that I thought happened at different times. Didn't happen the way I remembered it. So and I only saw season 3 once every week, not all in a binge.
Exactly.
So this will be interesting. I mean, the things that stick out in my mind. There are not enough things to fill 23 episodes, so there's a lot of gray space that I've forgotten. Let's put it that way.
Absolutely. Well, that's the good thing about being human. You can't remember everything.
And I'm purposely trying to block what I remember too. So
Yep.
it's good.
Good.
All right.
Let's say goodbye to our listeners, man.
Yes, absolutely. Goodbye, y'all. We'll be back.
And we see you in season 3.
Bye.
Bye.